Are we not allowed to use PTO anymore? I thought that's what PTO was for. And welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, right here on PHNX, right here in my house. Today is the last show I'll be doing from home. I get to come back to our brand new studio on Monday, even though I've kind of gotten used to these digs and this stupid idiot behind me that just loves to have hope for this Diamondback season. Great to see you guys here. Of course, I got my guy Damon Dog on the ones and twos today, and we are not thrilled to talk about what we're going to talk about, but we do have some positive stuff, including what's been happening in the D-backs farm system, as well as an entirely too early look at free agency and who the Diamondbacks might be able to target to help this team come 2026. But for now, we're still riding high on the fact the Diamondbacks have won 3 games in a row. They beat the Colorado Rockies yesterday in game 1 by a score of 8-2. I believe we have the count presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. But again, pretty thorough victory there from the Arizona Diamondbacks. 8-2 victory here. 9 hits per team. Diamondbacks were 3 for 11. Once again, the runners in scoring position. The Rockies were 0 for 1. Diamondbacks had those 5 extra base hits to the Rockies 2 extra base hits. And expected batting average, again, an imaginary stat. Diamondbacks had a 267 imaginary batting average to the Colorado Rockies 212. Imaginary batting average. Tonight, the Diamondbacks do have Brandon Pfaadt on the mound going up against Tanner Gordon. As far as an update in the series is concerned for game 4, neither team has listed a probable pitcher for this particular game. We have a feeling it's going to be Bryce Jarvis, especially with Anthony DeSclafani on the IL now. Doesn't appear like the D-backs have any other options. They might turn to a bullpen game, but I don't know if we love that idea. So Bryce Jarvis has been serviceable. I think he could be that guy. They can't make that announcement until they make the roster move to actually add Bryce Jarvis to the major league roster. So again, that's probably what we will see. In the meantime, they have to hold on to all the relievers they need, especially for a series in Colorado. But that's pretty good news. Again, can't make that move for Bryce Jarvis until they actually, or can't announce it until they bring him up from Reno. Speaking of Reno, Gabby Moreno played in last night's game in a loss to El Paso. I believe that's the El Paso Chihuahuas. Gabby Moreno was 0 for 3 in last night's loss. Kyle Nelson absolutely got rocked in that game. He allowed 4 hits and 3 earned runs in 1 inning of work. And the Reno Aces, in case you keep up with their record, it's not very good, and they did not win that game. Brandon Garcia had a nice outing, though, for the Reno Aces. He only allowed 1 hit with 2 walks in an inning and 2/3 of relief work for the Aces. So there is some guys right there that could be on their way back to help this team eventually, including also Pavin Smith, who was in Reno, and Ildemaro Vargas. But the big news today that we don't want to talk about, nobody wants to talk about, is Ketel Marte and what is going on with that whole situation. I know we discussed this briefly with Jesse yesterday, and Jesse unfortunately put himself in a position of defending more of the article. I think that the article existing is fine. I will say that the timing of it sucks. I know that when you work on a piece like this, it takes a while to get all of this information. And most likely this article started to be written when apparently, allegedly, according to this article from Nick Picoro, the frustration started there with Ketel Marte missing time. Apparently, according to this article, for the past month, teammates and others in the organization have been frustrated by Ketel Marte's propensity to ask for days off. The idea also floats out there. Some have wondered if the D-backs, what they would look like if the team traded Ketel during the offseason. I think that is something that a lot of people had a problem with in this article, is the fact that Nick went in a direction of floating the idea of trading Ketel out there. Ketel Marte is one of the best players in Major League Baseball. A team like the Diamondbacks don't often get somebody of his caliber as a part of their organization, let alone does a team like this find a way to hold on to Ketel or a player of Ketel's caliber for as long as they currently have him under contract. The trade part, speaking as someone that absolutely knows how this game works, is definitely, as some have alluded to, more about the clicks. I do not think that Ketel Marte is in danger of being traded at any point by the Arizona Diamondbacks, nor do I think that these days off that he has taken are enough for it to actually be a problem. But the phrase in the article that really bothered me, and I'm sure bothers a lot of fans out there, is that they said he is a great player when he wants to be. That's what the article said. More importantly, that exact sentiment was kind of backed up by Derek Hall this past Wednesday on Bickley and Murata, when Derek Hall said this about Ketel Marte. He said, "When this guy is focused and committed, I mean, there is no better second baseman in the game." Holy crap, does that first part of that sentence do a lot of heavy lifting. And the fact is that part, when this guy is focused and committed, means that there are times when he is not. Now, that could probably be said about a lot of baseball players. It won't be said about Corbin Carroll, because he's playing with a broken hand and refuses to be stopped. He won't stop playing baseball no matter how much you hurt him. If he's medically cleared, he's going to be out there on the field, and he won't miss a day, unless literally made to miss a day. Like I said on last night's episode, this is a man that committed crimes with his mother in order for him just to get some practice in out there on the ball field, trespassing onto a high school baseball field during COVID. So I love the commitment to the game from someone like Corbin Carroll, and it does sadden me that Ketel Marte apparently took time off where, even I defended him about, having his home burglarized. I figured, hey, my wife would be pretty upset. I was putting myself in his shoes. I'm like, I don't know, my wife would be cool, especially with me immediately going on the road again after our house was burglarized. So maybe, maybe he did have to take care of some personal things, and having nearly $500,000 in items stolen from you isn't easy for anybody to swallow. However, this article and other reports that have come out, according to Dan Bickley, who was one of the first people to scream and wave his arms in the air about Ketel Marte missing time, is that he was in the Dominican Republic during the end of the All-Star break, and that when he took the extra time off, it was not to come back here to Scottsdale to deal with his burglarized home, but it was to stay in the Dominican Republic. I'm not one to judge. I also went to the Caribbean during the All-Star break and had myself a lovely time sitting on the beach. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't call Damon and tell him, I'm going to stay here for an extra 2 days. Can you go ahead and handle the show for the rest of the week? No, I came back and took care of my obligations. Now, I do think that it's overblown based on the results of time missed by Ketel Marte. They did sweep the Cardinals in the aforementioned post-All-Star break absence. And quite frankly, based on these numbers, which I couldn't believe, the D-backs are 20-13 without Ketel Marte in the lineup this season. Missed a lot of time in April with injury, and has missed other time due to obvious other reasons. And this article basically alleges that a lot of those reasons were just him taking time off. I don't know, man. What I can say is that Ketel Marte this season is slashing 296, 398, 557 for a 955 OPS. He has 23 home runs and 56 RBI. I know teammates might have some problems with him missing time, and they might feel like that contributed to the particular losing stretch when the Diamondbacks ended up having to make the difficult decision to be sellers at the trade deadline. We'll never know what this team was going to do if kept whole and added to at the trade deadline, because we don't live in that timeline. We don't live in that universe. I would love to take a peek at it. I would love someone just to spoil it for me and let me know how things went in that universe. But we live in this one where the Diamondbacks were sellers, yet they're finding a tremendous amount of success here after the trade deadline and right now are in the thick of the wild card race, whether you want to admit that or not. I know a lot of people don't. I know there are people that like, Derek, you're an idiot. They're 4.5 games back. This is probably as close as they're going to get. You could be right about that. But what I think I don't like, what I think a lot of people don't like, once again, is why the hell are we talking about trading Ketel Marte? Right? I mean, I think that this situation isn't great. It's not a good look for him. I think he has like to make up some of this feelings towards his teammates. I don't think he can take this and just kind of let it fall on deaf ears and not respond to it. Nor do I think he has to make some sort of concerted effort to apologize for what's happened. I really just think he needs to go in there and show his teammates that he cares for the rest of this season and give it his all. The fact is, the man's a game changer when he's in there. And this article couldn't have come at a worse time, because right now Ketel Marte is incredibly hot. In 48 at-bats in the month of August, he is slashing 354, 446, 625 with a 1.071 OPS. You're going to trade that? I would let him speak disrespectfully to my face if he's going to put up those kind of numbers. He could talk about my mother before I ever hit bat. That's probably not a good thing to say, but it's a whole other thing. I'm just saying, when it comes to this is absolutely something that I know isn't great, right? Like, I know this isn't a good look for Ketel, and some have suggested it's not a good look for the organization. But what I can say is that this is something that for this whole situation is ridiculous. And I don't think that it really, I agree that with a lot of people here that this didn't need to come out now. This didn't need to come out during a time where not only Ketel is so needed, but he's having an incredible month. He just had 2 but basically 2 game-winning hits in the 9th inning on back-to-back nights, right? So it just sucks. Ketel has obviously had a lot of criticism just in general for missing time. And honestly, I apologize for the mother comment. I wasn't meaning this in connection to his mother. I was just not thinking there for a moment. But he did have the moment with his mother. And that was something that very much was understandable and excused. And overall, Torey Lovullo, said that like this was something that he almost kind of wanted him to take time to clear. But I don't know. I mean, there are times now where, again, Torey Lovullo has received a lot of criticism, especially for sitting Ketel, where you have to wonder if he was just kind of making covering for his player. We don't know that anymore. And again, I think Torey takes a lot of flack because he has pre-planned days off for guys, and that usually falls a day after they have a 2 home run, 7 RBI performance. So it always feels like Torey's toying with us when it comes to putting together his lineup and everything he has going on. But I don't know. I mean, again, this might just be a wake-up call. This is a weird situation where, like, when Jesse was on the show last night, he found himself in a position of defending Nick Piecoro, which I still don't understand. I guess a lot of people are upset because, the trading portion of this, but overall, this information didn't come out. This isn't being made up. These are unnamed players, and they're staying unnamed for a reason. None of that makes this any less of a legitimate feeling within the clubhouse. And I think that's the biggest problem is right now, we need to be connected. If you don't remember, a connected team is a very dangerous team. It's an effing dangerous team, in fact. So we would love to see them stay connected and not have any kind of drama, any kind of rift, anything that kind of makes this team not cohesive. I think that they will do a good job, hopefully, of moving past this. And I think a lot of people, again, will overall forgive Ketel and again, make it more about the team for the rest of the season. Let the team find success. All will be forgotten. Don't forget, his 955 OPS sits only right now behind Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. So we can put a rest all the all the trade talk, because that's not something anybody should have to worry about when it comes to Ketel Marte being a part of this team. They've done an excellent job at making him feel welcomed here. And honestly, I think, the part of this story that hits me the most is when they talk about the players that were traded away, being separated from their families, and how much this team seemed to care about winning during a stretch where they really struggled and didn't. Maybe it was why they struggled. Maybe it was why they couldn't find success, because they wanted it too bad. They pressed too hard. There were too many emotions tied to it. But that's a very real feeling. And whether or not they won or lost during that Cardinals series, it doesn't help the fact that people feel like, Marte wasn't there at a time when they needed him. They needed him the most, right? So also, I said this yesterday too, but there's something to be said about staying in a groove during a baseball season. So quite frankly, the one thing that probably frustrates me is the idea that when you get injured in baseball, you have to take time off, and then you have to get back to a baseball activity. You have to run the bases, and you have to do things like that. If you sprain an ankle, or if you hurt yourself or hurt a foot, then you still have to go to the minor leagues and have rehab starts, or go to a Arizona Complex League game, or whatever the case may be. Baseball is such a weird sport when it comes to taking time to get back into the game. So it is frustrating for him to take time off and miss time and get out of the groove when he is such an incredible baseball player, right? So you do have to wonder, especially about the comment from Derek Hall there, if Ketel Marte can be that committed player for the rest of the season. I feel like he can be. And again, there's a double-edged sword to the way that he plays this game so joyfully, like a kid. There is something to that, and that is that maybe at times he doesn't take it as seriously as his teammates do. Nick says, "It is what it is. I'm not worried about any of this. The clubhouse and Marte can deal with this internally. It'll solve itself." Great point. And I think that's pretty much what it comes down to. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get away from this Ketel Marte stuff. Instead, what we're going to talk about is ways that the Diamondbacks could add to this team this offseason. You are absolutely right. We are doing an entirely too early look at free agency. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. And of course, Pure Edibles can help us all through this situation. We can all relax a little bit. We can maybe improve our mood when thinking about allegations of wanting to trade one of our best players. And more importantly, Pure Edibles has us covered with all of those effects that we're looking for. Pure Edibles effects are clearly listed on each tin, so you know exactly what effects to expect. And they are a full-fledged candy company that offer you a wide variety of candies, not just gummies, even though they do offer you gummies. They offer you kicks, which are their version of Starburst, chews, hard candies, and more. So check out their entire line of edibles available at over 130 dispensaries statewide. They offer unique candies for sleep support, as well as uplifting effects derived from unique cannabinoids. So check out this company. They were originally created in Flagstaff, Arizona at Noble Orb Dispensary, and they are now made proudly here in Phoenix, Arizona. They are designed to be ripped in half or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles from one of over 130 dispensaries across the state of Arizona. And Branded Bills, as I've said in the past, has some incredible hats. So if you are a hat aficionado and just want to add to your collection, check them out over there at brandedbills.com. If you are looking to make some custom headwear that helps your brand stand apart from the crowd, Branded Bills has you covered with that too. They will get you started over there. Their team, their dedicated team, will help you create the exact custom apparel you need, including snapback hats, fitted hats, truckers, beanies. They have t-shirts, they have bags, they have all sorts of apparel. So make sure to check out their entire collection, everything they have to offer. They have partnerships with 40 universities, including ASU and U of A, as part of their campus collection. They also offer hats for your Phoenix Suns. So head to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. That's BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. They're a tremendous local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona. We had an absolute blast checking out their facility, and I swear Branded Bills hats with their logos are unlike anything I've ever seen. So make sure to check them out. Check out their entire line. And again, if you got a company, This is the partner you are looking for to make you some incredible branded gear. All right. Well, let's see here. What do we got in the chat, Damon? Damon, are you there? Are you alive? People are asking me why I'm not in the office, and it's because of this show, right? You guys made me stay here at my house. You guys said don't come in until the manual labor part. Look at, he's sitting in front of a wall that's torn apart. There used to be stuff there. Can we get can you give us a glimpse around? What is the grounds look like out there? Is everything taken apart? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
We're here, Derek. We're inside the auxiliary studio that we have here at PHNX, and it's pretty bare bones, brother.
It's pretty bare.
I mean, we got a couple chairs. We got a couple chairs behind me. That's a good scan of the room right there. We got it's pretty much just me in this room.
Yeah. Well, it's also Free Ad Friday, so we got to give a shout out to the movers. They gave us a tremendous job for us because of 2 men and a truck. I don't have to be there right now doing manual labor. Like, you know what goes on, Damon. It's like suddenly no one knows how to lift a couch when I'm around for some reason, and no one knows how to use a power tool, so I'm left being the dad. So again,
Derek, I have bad news for you. People are already designating you as the TV mounter in our office. So
no, that's a lot of work. Where's Saul? Get Saul in here. This is ridiculous. Need some outside help. We need some outside help. Maybe we'll get another company. We'll do some free ads for them. By the way, speaking of Free Ad Friday, McDonald's has some amazing Hello Kitty Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys for their Happy Meal. And all my grown adult male friends are sending me pictures of the ones that they got. So in case you're wondering how that's going for McDonald's, very successfully in the 34 to 47-year-old male hip hop lover demographic. But speaking of adding to the team, Damon, we got a way too early look at free agency here. I know this is crazy. I know we don't have the money or the time really to be looking at free agency right now, but quite frankly, with the holes the Diamondbacks have to start 2026, this is something that I definitely hope Mike Hazen is doing. I hope he has a giant board with pictures and names up of guys that they could potentially target, because they are going to need some help.
Yeah, absolutely. I just envisioned right now the Carroll gif that or meme that we send every time Corbin Carroll does something good.
Carroll!
But that's just Mike Hazen's office. That board is literally Mike Hazen's office, and he already has the game plan of exactly how he's going to approach free agency. But Derek, I think, not to spoil what we're going to put here on the screen, but it's pretty clear what the Diamondbacks need this offseason.
It is.
And
it is. And it is pitching. It absolutely is, Damon. And quite frankly, they don't have a lot of money to spend. So we kind of had to dig here into the available free agents. This is me being a GM, trying my best to put together who I would target, or who I think the Diamondbacks actually might target. Some are crazy, some make sense. So let's get to it. The first target is a guy that's been struggling this year a bit. That's Zach Eflin. He has had a pretty bad season for the Baltimore Orioles. He is a free agent after this year. He has a 5.93 ERA. So he is 6-5 in 14 starts. He has a 1.416 whip. So why pursue him, right? Which is going to be a lot of your first question there, because he would be cheap. Quite frankly, he would be cheap. And that is something that the Diamondbacks have to seek out here. There are 2 guys on this list that are not going to be cheap. They're at the bottom in Framber Valdez and Luke Weaver. And then there are 2 guys that, quite frankly, have had some pretty damn good seasons in their career, but right now are not pitching well and might just be willing to take a limited deal to help the Diamondbacks and themselves get back on track. Zach Eflin will be 32 years old next season. And last season in 2024, he had a combined 3.59 ERA for both Tampa and Baltimore. So I don't hate what Zach Eflin could potentially be for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Meanwhile, Aaron Savali, another case of a similar situation. He's had a rough year, 4.91 ERA in 15 starts with this season. The interesting thing about this, he has a 4.91 ERA with both teams that he's pitched for. He literally has a true 4.91 ERA. He has a 1.336 whip this year. Again, another guy that's going to be in his mid, or early 30s, 31 next season. Has not had a very good season this year or last year, but he has been very good at times. He posted a 2.34 ERA in 13 starts with the Guardians in 2023. So these are guys that are similar to Zach Gallen that might not cost the Diamondbacks nearly as much. They are guys that have had good seasons in their past and, quite frankly, maybe need to sign a short-term deal to try to kind of bounce back. Maybe just a 1 year or 2 year deal for these guys. That's what the Diamondbacks need. They just kind of need to band-aid themselves through the 2026 season, and then baseball may never be played again in 2027 and beyond. So who the hell knows what's going to happen? Framber Valdez, though, let's get crazy. Why not? He's a free agent this offseason. He is one of, if not the best available free agent starting pitchers. So obviously the Arizona Diamondbacks have to go after him, right? They have to. That's what they do. That's what they've done this past season. That's what they did the season before. And both were an absolute disaster for their own separate reasons. So why not? Why not go after the best pitcher available on the free agency market? There's no way that it can't work out again. Right? Right? Yeah, his numbers are insane. He has a 3.25 career ERA. He has a 2.97 ERA this season in 23 starts with a 1.126 whip. Obviously, he will cost entirely too much money, but it's fun to wish, right? And honestly, I don't really put anything past this team anymore. I really don't. John Freeman in the chat says resign Merrill, and obviously for me, that's probably at the top of this list above all of these things. Merrill Kelly is going to be better than Zach Eflin or Aaron Savali, and he's probably not even going to cost you as much as those guys would cost you. Plus, hopefully Mike Hazen and him had a very productive conversation about that exact thing happening. As far as I'm concerned, I really do feel like bringing back Merrill Kelly is the best thing for this team this offseason. So, especially after what he did to them in Texas, and he still didn't get the win. Still winless for the Rangers. But would you even want to see the Diamondbacks do something as crazy as going after Framber Valdez with the track record they have? Like, as a fan, if you saw the news, I'm sure your first reaction would be excitement and enthusiasm, and then intrepidation and fear and terror and worry and anxiety in the pit of your stomach, right? Because of what's happened to this team whenever they've gone out there and done that whole thing and bring in the best pitcher. Last but not least, there on that list, Luke Weaver. Bring him home. Luke Weaver by far is one of the best relievers in all of baseball right now. He was incredible in the postseason for the Yankees. He had a 2.89 ERA in 62 games in 2024. Even better this season, he has a 2.68 ERA and a 0.809 whip in 45 appearances. 0.809. That man is going to get paid. So why can't we be the ones to pay him? Pay that man his money. I would love to see Luke Weaver brought home. It's the only way that we could even consider that we won the Paul Goldschmidt trade. But the bigger problem there is that it is going to cost a ton of money for Framber Valdez, a ton of money for Luke Weaver. It might be more money than, quite frankly, we want to spend even on a Merrill Kelly. I don't even know if want to spend is the word as much as have to spend, right? But is there money in the banana stand, as they say? No, probably not. The Diamondbacks payroll for 2026 isn't great. Contract escalators for guys like Eduardo Rodriguez and Corbin Carroll and others eat into their payroll budget. Like payroll is going up. Contracts, amounts of money owed to guys is going up. So unless they plan on going prospect heavy again in 2026, the Diamondbacks right now have roughly $30 to $45 million to spend in free agency this offseason. And that's not going to get them very far, especially if they do consider going after any of these guys. And again, there's definitely a closer that's needed in there. I'm not sure if Luke Weaver, you're going to want to do that, but the Diamondbacks right now have, especially if they offer a qualifying offer, by the way, to Zach Gallen, and he accepts it. We know that Zach Gallen does not have Zach Gallen did not have a great year. And I know that Scott Boras clients typically don't accept a contract extension or in this case, a qualifying offer for just one season. However, these two things are coming to a head, right? Where it's like they don't do that, but Zach Gallen had a bad year, and there's a good chance that whatever what the Diamondbacks would pay him in a qualifying offer is going to be more than he's going to make elsewhere. So why not stay here in Arizona, and why not try to improve, bounce back? It could be the best case scenario for everybody, but should that happen, the Diamondbacks are going to have even substantially less and still have a lot of roles to fill in their payroll overall. So this just when it comes to this team, there isn't a lot of money to be spent. So Damon, are you there? Are you available, Damon? I don't know if you hear that, but there's a cat trying to rip down my door right now. It's the same cat that made me lose my voice. So if you don't mind, I need a moment because I need to take this cat and throw her in another room. Please tell me your thoughts on the Diamondbacks not having enough money for free agency this offseason.
I will. I mean, the Diamondbacks, there was an article that came out that they, in large part, like made those trades to save a good chunk of change to then reinvest in the team. Kind of a nothing burger article. I think we all somewhat figured that, but I think that there's money to spend. I think Ken Kendrick wants to spend. I think that the Diamondbacks feel that they have the spine of a competitive baseball team, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think that they've given up on this build there. So
for sure.
I think personally, I think that they will reinvest in the offseason. I think that they will go after a couple big time pitching targets. And I don't necessarily think that they're like penny pinching per se. Like I think that Ken Kendrick is kind of turned a leaf in terms of what he's willing to do to try to win versus what he was doing in the 2010s, for example.
Well, the one thing that has come up is the fact that they discussed this $17 million that they saved this year. And no, I'm not revealing the cat. It's gonna do something like scratch me on this live program or whatever, something bad will happen. But the $17 million that they're talking about that's going towards next year really doesn't go towards next year. Now they save $17 million. So hypothetically, as far as whatever their budget was set for next year, it could allow them to just increase it by 17 million, because at the end of the day, it comes down to Ken Kendrick and Mike Hazen. Well, more Ken Kendrick, but depending on how much they're going to spend, right? So which they've said they were going to cut back on payroll for 2026 a little bit, maybe they don't. Maybe the $17 million just kind of makes up for that gap as far as what they were going to cut back on versus what they end up spending next year. But
you have to factor in the Jordan Montgomery money that was just burning a hole in this team's pocket as well for two seasons, though, because he's getting paid $20 million the last 2 seasons, and he was the worst pitcher in baseball last season, and he gave you nothing this season. So that hypothetically, I mean, I know that in that circumstance, Ken Kendrick brought in Jordan Montgomery because he thought that he had a championship caliber team. And maybe that's not the case moving forward, but I feel that at least that there's a good chunk of change right there that you could play with, and potentially look at bringing in a Framber Valdez or bringing back a Merrill Kelly with that kind of money.
Yeah, well, and they could keep their budget right now. It's just a little under 180 million for 2025. I know that again that they could still spend in the same neighborhood, and I'm sure they would probably be fine. I mean, relatively speaking, we have no idea how much money they actually make. So, but I mean, it's been reported quite a few times that the Diamondbacks are one of the teams that spend one of the higher percentages as far as what they make in revenue back into the team. So Ken Kendrick has been honest when he has said that they don't profit from this team, that they try to just reinvest the money back into it. However, the one thing that people have talked about quite a bit is how important it is for this team to stay competitive, considering that now they're receiving that the tax revenue from Chase Field, and now would be a horrible time for them to go into like any kind of rebuild, any kind of season where there's a bunch of prospects and such up here. So they have that to still have to live up to as well. I know winning is always a priority, but it's like, yeah, winning's a priority. Also putting a competitive team out there that people want to watch, definitely a priority for this team where fans can become disinterested in this particular market very quickly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, Damon. I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic about what they can do. However, I know a lot of these guys might be out of reach for them. However, a few might be the exact kind of starting pitcher that they can use on just a single year to get themselves kind of just back right till Corbin Burns and reinforcements return. Nick said, I feel that Matt Ishbia also had an effect on Ken Kendrick to spend more money on this team. Great point. I mean, also, it kind of feels like the, Coyotes situation was used in this negotiation for this tax revenue and such. So, like, the way what's happening here in the Valley definitely impacts the Diamondbacks. Jorge has a great question, which we're going to address on the other side of this break. But let's do that real fast. Let's get from beyond free agents that are far away, and let's talk about some guys that the Diamondbacks actually could add right now. And if you would want to see them add those players, don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, our friends at Mountain America Credit Union, they want to tailor make a checking account for you because everyone needs a checking account, right? Everyone needs a checking account, but a lot of us have a checking account that do not offer the benefits that a My Style checking account has for you. The My Style checking account offers all sorts of perks, including restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, and so much more. You can get identity protection. You can get discounted loan rates, which is very important in today's world. Offers on travel and events, and again, so much more from My Style, which you can make for your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Insured by NCUA, membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost, registration and activation. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. And our friends over at All Pro Shade Concepts want to get you hooked up with some beautiful motorized custom fit awnings or roll down patio shades that not only make your house look very cool, but make your house feel very cool. Those customized awnings can help extend your outdoor living space, especially now that we're getting into, I guess, if you want to call it the cooler time of the year. It's under 100 degrees today, so we should all go outside and spend some time enjoying the weather briefly while we can. But again, can extend that outdoor living space with our friends at All Pro Shade Concepts. Can also add those roll down patio shades to help keep your patio up to 20 degrees cooler. They can also install roll down shades in your home to help keep your home 20 degrees cooler. That will save you substantially on your energy cost and just make your life during the summer more pleasant. They are the most trusted local shade company, voted #1 by Ranking Arizona for patio shades in 2024. They are licensed, bonded, insured. Give them a call at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com now to schedule your free estimate. And again, the Diamondbacks have a chance here to add some names to their team this year. And there's some bad players out there that have been previously good. And we have to take a look at if the Diamondbacks should actually do that. Now, Marcus Stroman was a name that was just brought up. That is a name that a lot of people probably say absolutely no to, considering this man has a 6.23 ERA this season for the Yankees before they parted ways with him. But again, there's something to be said about somebody that has the track record in the past that Marcus Stroman has had, and he has been good in his career. Prior to this stint with the Yankees, he posted a 3.95 ERA in 23 for the Cubs, 3.50 in 22, and then a 3.02 in 21 for the Mets, where he started the most games in Major League Baseball. So I think that there's a lot of problems there with Marcus Stroman. And again, we just talked earlier about clubhouse conflict and team not being connected. He does not seem like the kind of guy that's going to help connect your team further. However, the Diamondbacks are kind of in a desperate place right now. And not only are they in a desperate place, but they're starting to win just enough that it's making you wonder if they should start to get realistic about maybe adding some reinforcements, adding some depth to this team. I like the way that things are going for the players that are currently on this roster. They're young. They don't know any better, and they're just going out there and playing baseball, and the results are there. Have to wait until they get into this tougher portion of the schedule before we can really start saying this might be a team to believe in for any reason. I still don't think that we're there. I just think that they've played good baseball against bad opponents. However, there are guys like Stroman available on the market now because they had a bad season and have been DFA'd by their team. Nathaniel Lowe was DFA'd by the Washington Nationals. He had a terrible season. In fact, he had the worst season of his career. He slashed 216, 292, 373 this year, which are all career lows. He had an OPS plus of 88, which is well below league average, and just has not been a very good baseball player offensively or defensively. So, Derek, why would you want to bring this man onto your team? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the Diamondbacks so far have done a pretty good job at acquiring guys that didn't really jump off the page at you, but have somehow contributed to this team. Jalen Beeks is one of those names I can think of. Anthony DeSclafani is another name. And James McCann, who now people want to keep above Jose Herrera, which it's not a very big leap. But Piece of Yoshi asks, where would he even fit in? That's not my job. My job is not to determine whether he would fit in or not. My job is for him to be signed to a minor league deal and see if he ends up hitting 400 for the Reno Aces to be called up as a first baseman for this team should Tyler Locklear not work out. Now, this is a man that hit 302 for the Rangers in 2022 and hit 27 home runs. So I am living on past glory here. But can he ever be that again? Probably not. But he could help with depth for the remainder of this season. And the bigger thing is that he might not cost very much. Again, just for the season to play out. And yes, I know everyone hits 400 for the Reno Aces. So, who isn't hitting 400 for the Reno Aces? Recently acquired Cubs legend Matt Mervis, who the Diamondbacks added on a minor league contract. He was traded to the Miami Marlins before this season where he really struggled. But he's a 27-year-old prospect with major league experience. It made sense to at least give him an opportunity. I think the big question here is, will Matt Mervis ever reach the major league roster? I'm a bit doubtful of that. I just, again, the Diamondbacks right now, I think that they need to try to sift through some of these available players to see if any one of them could be that diamond in the rough. And also, I think competition only brings out the best in guys. I think when, again, I think Jordan Lawlar and Blaze Alexander could potentially bring the best out in each other competing for third base. And I think the same could be said about Tyler Locklear and, quite frankly, anybody that could also be the future of first base for the Diamondbacks. So Joey Millsap in the chat asked what the hell happened to Trey Mancini. Mancini opted out of his contract and signed elsewhere. So he was playing extremely good for the Reno Aces. Might have to do a spying on our exes about him and see how he's doing lately. But overall, my nips hurt is here, by the way. And I love saying that. I love saying my nips hurt is here. That's you got me with your screen name. Said, Derek, how do you handle the stress of being the most handsome D-backs fan? Oh, brother, it's a struggle every single day, but I am glad you're here because I would love to hear your thoughts on Nathaniel Lowe. I know he's been terrible this season, and I know that Dylan Cruz is returning, which made this decision easy, but is Nathaniel Lowe washed at this point as a Nationals fan, or does he still have something to offer? Love to always get actual feedback from people that watch him, but let's see. Michael Dixon is asking, when can we expect a lease agreement? Are we talking about on the new, what are we talking about on the new place? I don't know what are we doing here. And my Nepsert says he was a locker room guy. The Nats knew he was kind of on the downtrend. Yeah. And giving guys opportunities when they're on the downtrend might be exactly what they need to do. My apologies, Michael. Michael said Chase Field lease extension. That's a great question. I think some details are still being worked out, but as far as the recently signed bill, it does require the Diamondbacks to be there as part of it. So I feel like it's just a matter of getting a deal done. Excuse me. But I don't know. I don't know right now how long that's going to take. Chances are that that'll probably be done during the off season. I think there's still a few years left on their current deal. So I don't know if it'll take time for that to kick in, but I do know that the benefits from the tax, the catch-all for the taxes is going to start kicking in here for the Diamondbacks next season. So what we're going to do, take another quick break. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk about how the guys down in Reno are doing, including Jordan Lawlar being back. So let's take a look going forward. Excuse me. Let's take a look at our break real fast. Excuse me. I am dying, Michael Dixon. Damn, he asked me if I'm okay. I promise I will survive this particular coughing fit. But let's take a break real fast. We'll be right back. You guys are watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, it's no secret that it's very hot here in Arizona right now. I'm here in my home, and I have a smart thermostat. That means that I don't even have to get up from my seat right now to control it, nor do I have to get up from my couch. I'm lazy like that, and I love it. It's just one of the benefits of having a smart thermostat, including to being able to do that exact same thing when you aren't home, which can allow you to control your energy costs overall. Remember, raising your temperature just 1 degree in your home can save you up to 2 to 3% on your overall energy costs. So make sure you have a smart thermostat where you can do all of this when you're away, as well as set schedules and see how much you're using of your air conditioner every single day with a smart thermostat. APS customers right now might be eligible for smart thermostats for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you already have a smart thermostat, you can see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards, where you can receive rebates on your bill and so much more. Plus, free installation is available at the link in our video description. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions do apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information. And it's never ordinary, no matter whatever the moment is. It's never ordinary at Bet365. You know that. Baseball games involving the Diamondbacks, also very much not ordinary. But what you can do is bet on those games. And with the MLB early payout offer over at Bet365, you will be a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs or more with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. Download the app and use that code of PHNX365 when you sign up. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and they offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you sign up and bet $5, win or lose. All you got to do is use that code of PHNX365 when you do sign up, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 or more to receive $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Mark asked if a bug flew in my mouth. No, Mark, I just don't do a good job of taking care of myself when I'm at home alone. When there are people here that I have to care for, I make sure that they have water. As you know, with Jesse for years, I always was worried about how hydrated he was. Now with Damon, I make sure that he eats, because Damon does not eat enough. He's too skinny. He needs some more food in him. I'm furious that he doesn't take better care of himself. And I don't take good care of myself. Even as I sit here, I have the ability to have a bevy of drinks at my disposal because I am at home, including ice cold water, which we currently didn't have in our studio. But do I have any of that in front of me as I have a coughing attack? No, I don't. I have nothing in front of me. So I just sit here. You know what I do have in front of me? I have a Ketel Marte bobblehead because, again, Ketel, he can't miss any more shows. So he's going to have to be here every single show for the rest of the season, and he will be here right next to me. But let's take a look at what some of those other young players are doing down in Reno with our look at the snake farm. There are some guys that have been killing it. Tommy Troy has been making some incredible defensive plays at second base. Let me tell you, that man is already ready to play defense at a major league level. So far with Reno, in a very small sample size, he's hitting .278 with an .816 OPS. He has a .500 slug. He has 5 RBI, and he has played in 8 games for the Aces. But so far, he's adapted to Triple-A quickly, and you love to see him having success already, both offensively and defensively. And I think his numbers are only going to improve because it is Reno, and everybody hits 300 down there. Speaking of hitting 300, Jordan Lawlar is back. He played in last night's loss, going 2 for 5 with a double. So it's great to see him having a little bit of success in his first game back. We do know, based on what Torey Lovullo has said, that Jordan Lawlar will be called up soon to the major league roster. It'll be interesting to see how he shuffles in to the mix with the other guys right now that are playing so well, including Blaze Alexander. I think a lot of people right now don't want to see Blaze Alexander lose any playing time to Jordan Lawlar if he continues to go 0-4 like he has so far this season. For the Reno Aces, he is hitting 321 with a 993 OPS this year. He has 10 home runs and 45 RBI. And last but not least, the man who will just not quit baseball and just is killing it right now for the Aces, Sergio Alcantara, who I just can't say enough about how every time we look at his numbers down there for Reno, he is continuing to put up some incredible numbers. And I mean, this is in 76 plate appearances. He is hitting 387 with a 1.081 OPS. He has a 500 on base percentage, 14 walks. So yeah, Piece of Yoshi asks, what stint is this for Sergio Alcantara? I believe it's his 7th is what he said, but I don't know if that's the case or not. But he's been here a lot. He's been a lot of places, a lot. He always plays well at a Triple-A level, but he just can't seem to really put it together as a major leaguer. Again, another guy that is here for depth, quite frankly, and I'm not sure if we'll see him or not in a major league, in a Diamondbacks uniform this year, but he is a guy that is kind of, he's been earning that time down there. So good stuff from Sergio. Overall though, Damon, this is a rebuilding time for the farm system. And the one thing that the Diamondbacks added were a lot of arms. Like I said, I believe it was on Wednesday's show, we're going to be bringing back our Diamond Mine series where we are going to preview a few of those arms. First couple that we're getting prepared for you here is Cole Drake and Mitch Bratt. So make sure to absolutely check those out once we post those. But Diamondbacks at this point continue to roll. And tonight they have, I don't want to say a big challenge, but they can't underestimate this Rockies team. They can seemingly put up runs at will. And we know that the bullpen loves to give up those runs. However, lately the Diamondbacks bullpen has been playing well. Everybody's been playing well. And one of the best guys on this team right now, Ketel Marte, right? He single-handedly, at least offensively, won 2 games for this team. And let's just hope that this scrutiny kind of dies down and that this team can just go back to playing baseball. Brandon Pfaadt, by the way, has himself a great outing tonight. We could really see this team roll. Damon, I do believe we had some super chats from last night that we failed to get to. So first, I want to apologize for being a terrible host. That goes for the coughing fit earlier and for bringing up. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about this Ketel Marte crap, right? Like I know a lot of people don't want to bring it up. I know a lot of people think that it's a non-story. That's the reason why there's kind of been the backlash towards the person that wrote it. But I mean, it is a story, is it not?
Derek, I am very frustrated this morning with the way that Diamondbacks fans have handled this story. I feel like, this has been boiling for a while with a lot of this Ketel stuff. I don't mean to say that, like, I think that he's like a distraction necessarily that's like
right
ruined the season. He's not the reason
right.
The season is gone the way that it has. No one is saying that. But when your best player tells the rest of his team, hey, I'm going to take a vacation while you guys are fighting for your lives trying to stay here in Arizona, that is a bad message to send, man. And there's objectively no other way to work around that. So it's frustrating to me to see people. Everybody these days, this is true, Derek. They love to jump on media. That's their favorite thing in the world. And tell media personalities that they're the worst and that they're scumbags. This has nothing to do with Nick Pecoro. He is a good journalist who did his job. This has everything to do with the Diamondbacks organization and the relationship that Ketel Marte has with a lot of his teammates and staff.
Yeah. Well, and again, I know these players remain nameless, but for them to even bring this up to a journalist asking to stay off the record, or at least have their name not attached to it, has a lot. It means that it's a frustrating thing for them, because usually they don't like us like that. They don't want to talk to us like that. This isn't something that typically they would want to share with a journalist that they know is going to write an article about it. However, sometimes in life you got to address something that needs to be done. I mean, look, I talked about it on my Twitter. My daughter has been in band since the 4th grade. And suddenly this year, 2 weeks into high school, she has struggled with her band teacher and their relationship. And it's been enough to make her want to quit. Right. And so, like, again, I didn't have any problem directly addressing this. I might be a little too confrontational at times in life, but I'm not going to not address it immediately. And sometimes that's what you need to do. You need to go through whatever channel you need to address it so that the problem gets resolved, rather than letting something like that just kind of fester and letting resentment grow towards a guy that you know is one of the most important keys to your team winning baseball games in that clubhouse. So anyway,
so we do have the
he
super chats with Eric.
He says, my thing is, if you can't get anyone on record about it, why even post it? Well, information is still information, quite frankly. And again, you're not going to get necessarily players a lot of times to attach their name to criticism of one of their teammates due to the actual problems it's going to cause in the clubhouse. Not to mention, like I said, they then that becomes the story. You know, if Damon is like, yeah, I got problems with Derek, now the story isn't Derek's problems, it's the fact that me and him are beefing. And like that's kind of not the point of doing this. The point isn't to start a fight with them. The point is to fix a problem that they perceive is going on. So, but Piece of Yoshi said this is an article you publish in the off season, and maybe that's how
I don't know if
feel.
I agree with that. I understand that the timing looks bad because of him carrying this team in recent games, but I don't know that I necessarily think it's an off-season article either. This all boiled over during All-Star break.
If you want it to be corrected, you can't wait until the offseason. It needs to be, as far as the players who told Nick this information, or the coaches, staff, whoever, it needs to be addressed immediately. It needs to be addressed as soon as possible to hopefully stop it from happening. Especially, again, there's the part in there about how, like that if Torrey tries to address it with him, he kind of shuts down. Right. So I don't know if this article is going to have the impact that it's meant to, but I do know that we have those 2 super chats from yesterday. One is from our guy, Benjamin Hunley. Want to give him a shout out. Of course, Benjamin, I don't know if do you have those super chats handy, Damon?
Yeah, I do. The first super chat was from Benjamin Hunley. He said, could you imagine Geraldo Perdomo asking for a day off in a big game for any reason?
No, quite frankly. And that's, I think, and you could probably say the same about a lot of guys on that roster. Corbin Carroll, literally playing with a bone floating around in his hand. And then Piece of Yoshi, thank you for your super chat. He said, blaming Ketel when Larkin has cost more games. Shake my head. Yep. Well,
and that's where Derek, that's where I think that the article is being misconstrued. Everyone keeps saying that people are blaming Ketel for like the way that the season has unfolded. I don't think that that's true. I think it's more that players are frustrated with his lack of leadership and stuff in the locker room. And like, this is just the boiling point. Like, as far as
we're here fighting for our lives every day kind of thing, and you're not. So
yeah, and it, like B says, like, why don't they put their name on it? Because that would be catastrophic to the locker room.
Yeah,
honestly. And like you said, then it makes the story about what did Geraldo Perdomo say about Ketel Marte, rather than what Ketel Marte is actually doing and what his behavior has been like. So that, like, Nick Piccolo has worked long enough in this business that we should trust when he says it's an anonymous player. that it is an anonymous player on the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I agree. Well, we thank you guys for your time. We appreciate you. We'll be back in studio on Monday, so make sure to join us in our brand new home. Until then, have a wonderful weekend. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. Damon's at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. We're all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_sports, but as always, PHNX_DBacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys again for your time. We love you. We appreciate you for stopping by. We'll be back with another Mailbag Monday. But until then, enjoy your weekends. Have a fun time. Don't worry about this Ketel stuff. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when everybody in the locker room loves each other. Everybody love everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.